try without a mic too. Can you hear me? Is that okay? Okay. Folks, let me ask you a question. You like going to the dentist? I want to see you raise the hands on how many people like to go see the dentist. Okay, so I didn't really get a popularity poll there, so you can tell that's not why I'm running for CD1. Okay? Not because of my profession. My profession gets after a problem. They're small business people, and we understand where a dollar goes. If you talk about healthcare that works, dentistry really doesn't, and I'll explain it to you. But folks, for those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Paul Gosar. I've lived here in town for over 24 years. I hope that's not Andrew Patrick, because I really want to take that phone call. But anyway, I'm the only candidate in CD1 who has been here their whole professional life and chosen to live here. I've raised my 3 children in the school district. I have 2 small businesses. In fact, I've built my house from many of the components that you'll find in District 1. So I bleed and grow with District 1. Folks, I'm also the first of 10 kids. That's why when I eat, you got to give me lots of room, because I'm very good with a fork and a knife. Okay? Because you only got one shot at it in my house. You know, I really want to talk about issues, and I'll get there in a second. But I want to ask you, have you seen the YouTube from Holbrook? I want you to show hands on it. Did you see the YouTube? Did you see all the people with the pitchforks and the knives and stuff there? No, I didn't see it. I saw people asking questions to a complex health care bill that I can tell you right now, the Congresswoman doesn't understand. I'm actually one of those guys that was pushing an alternative bill. Those little paragraphs. Okay, folks? Free enterprise. But that's a problem that we have right now with Ann Kirkpatrick, is that she doesn't represent us. She's walked out on every single thing that we have looked at her to do. If I grab one of you in District 1 and I ask you how many times you vote with Nancy Pelosi, I think we'd be hard-pressed to get 5%. But she's running at an 80% clip. Holy cow. That's just wrong, folks. That does not work here. We have to have something better. And you know what? It starts now. I'm a small businessman, so let's talk about healthcare. And as a dentist, I know a few things about healthcare. First of all, shouldn't we be playing by all the same rules as businesses? So what we have to do is take away anti-competitive clauses from the insurance companies. They've been playing with those for 50 years. I want to see what the American ingenuity can actually do. I think we'd be blessed with that, just to see them compete against themselves fairly. But they don't. Somebody asked a question where we want to use the federal government. This is it. Because states like California, New York, and South Carolina, who have it in their state constitution, were flicked off by the insurance companies. We can't have monopolies and collusion at that layer. And the federal government is it. That's where you want to, number 1. Level the playing field so we have equal competition. If all of you are under those same guidelines, let's play by those same guidelines. Number 2 is public health is amok. These are your tax dollars, folks. It should be answerable to you at the community level. You know what's best here in Flagstaff, in Payson, in Prescott, whatever. You've got to do that. Because they've got a whole different scenario. I've been living and breathing it. And number 3, you can't have a platform unless you have tort reform. You have to have tort reform. You know, these ideas don't always come from the top down. Let's start in Oregon, where at least all malpractice cases are mediated. Up to 85% of all those cases are mediated there. If you want your attorney, you can have your attorney. That's fine. But what a savings on the court and the rest of us taxpayers. Pain and suffering. Let's look at the best of what Texas and California does. That's where we want to start. Let's start there. Simple 3 little scenarios. And you know what? It's a part of an economy that's been stagnant for 50 years. I want to see people going to work, creating new ideas in the healthcare industry. But you have to own it. To own it, you have to have skin in the game. That leads right into economy. Well, I tell you what, I'm a small businessman, you know, and I feel like the water's like this. and I can barely keep my nose up. You know, the federal government has got to stop spending money. And we can't be taxed anymore. That's the equation. Anybody who's got small businesses, I got to tell you, they're hurting. District 1 is hurting big time. 2009, we had 34,000, actually almost 35,000, small business bankruptcies in District 1. 24 came from the greater Phoenix area. That meant it was 9,000 from rural Arizona. And the administration has the audacity to say that the recession's over and small business is coming out of this? No, you're talking to the guy that said, 2010 will be the year of small bankruptcies for small businesses. And if we don't do something, it's going to be 2011 and 2012 until there's none of us left. Small business is shown to be the little engine that could. It's been chugging, 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 chugging. You tell me what you got out of the Target. You tell me what you got out of the bailouts at Chrysler. You didn't. You got something else. You got taxes. I don't know about you, but you know what? I'm kind of tired of taxes, and they're hard to pay. This is not what I dreamed of. This is not what I want to inherit to my kids. At least when I was growing up, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. And you had to work, but you could get something done. That's not what's happening to our future, folks. This is repulsive. And you're one bill away, whether it be climate control or the health care bill, and you got hell to pay. And I do want that question to come back, how do you repeal that? Okay? So after I'm done, I definitely want that question. But folks, we also have to do something else. I look in this audience. I don't see any kids. There's a few. But I mean, I want to see the kids. I want to see those college kids. I want to see those high school kids. And it's going to take every one of us mentoring them to get something done. I got to tell you, they're our future. You know, our rights are not inherited. You know, former President Ronald Reagan said, they're just one generation away from being gone. And folks, let me issue the crop. That day is right now. You had better get this election right. If you don't get it right, you're going to have hell to pay. You're not going to get it back in our lifetime. So we all gave a little bit of our rights away, a little bit at a time. We're all guilty for it. And you know what? We're going to have to pay the piper. We're going to have to put a little of ourselves back into the system to make it right. I love the Constitution. Do not ever get me wrong. But the Constitution is not coming back tomorrow. I wear a pin up here with a bunch of shovels. I'm a gardener. And you can ask my wife. I like gardening with backhoes and all that kind of stuff. This is a common man's instrument. And you know what? The symbol is dig in and dig us, the U.S., out. Because that's what it's going to take. In this election cycle, somebody said, well, how are we going to start this? In 2010, you stopped the powers to be. So you've got to carry some majorities here, and it is possible. Now what you've done is you've dug the line in the sand. So it's not going to get worse. Now you have to come to the table with solutions, and you better have solutions, folks. Because if we go to the Democrats like we did in 2010 or 2008, and back to the Republicans in 2010, and nothing gets done, who got hurt? Every single one of you. America lost. You know what? I don't want to be part of that. I do not want to be part of that. Because if you're going to criticize, bring the solutions. Folks, bring the solutions. I also am a fundamental person about bills, got to be transparent. I don't know, guys. I didn't take a foreign language in high school and college. My foreign language is hick. So I'm tired of old English. I want to see a synopsis, and I think it's prudent to see a synopsis of what the bill means, including any additions to it. And you must have time to assimilate that. I mean, here we got a health care bill. And I'll just tell you, I sat down with Michael Burgess, the U.S. rep from Texas, who's an OBGYN. He spent after hours with me. And he said, you know, Paul, I've been reading this bill. My staff's been reading this bill. We thought we knew everything. But we thought there was 3 typos in this bill. And it finally dawned onto us what the 3 typos were.